So how many of you have a contract and you're trying to get your contract back and you don't get contracts back, you make the phone calls and someone says yes to you and you get that yes, but you can't get the contracts back, whatever business you're in. You have a verbal agreement with someone on the phone, gentleman's agreement, call it whatever you want, and then boom, you don't get your contracts back. I'm gonna give you 3 steps on how to get your contracts back. Do me a favor, before you hear my 3 steps, if you've not subscribed to my channel below, click the subscribe down below, click the notification link. I'd love for you to be one of my lucky winners. All right, so let's look at the 3 steps that you have of getting contracts back. Number 1 is you first of all have to have a list that you are marketing that is a doable list. And I might be thinking, all right, David, that's pretty obvious, but you have to know who you're calling. So let's say you're calling tax overages. You go to the tax overage, you go to the county, you go to the sheriff who's ever conducting the sale, you look at the overages, you look at the protocols for the state, you look at what happens to the funds. And I see this with so many different states, and usually a lot of times the clerk of the court, the guy or gal working the counter, they can't even tell you what happens to the funds, and you have to do some deeper research. I always tell people, if you can, go to your local auctions and see what happens at the local auctions, how much it's going for over, but get a list that is marketable so that when you call somebody, and you guys have all heard my script before, I call someone, hi, this is David Church, trying to reach John Smith. There's a pause. Yeah, this is John. John, I'm calling you about the property at 123 Main Street. Are you aware that it went for over the asking price at auction? And I pause. And usually right then and there, and sometimes they say, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm aware of that. And I'll say, okay, great. And then, do I want to lose this for client forever? I'll say, I'm really happy for you. Wish you the best, sir. John, can I ask you for a favor? Can I ask in 8 weeks, can I call you? And can I just make sure you're collecting okay? Because if you do, great. And if you don't, we specialize in this. And almost every single time, if not every single time, they've told me yes. So let's go back to the first point. You've got to get a doable list, okay? Second one is you've got to get them on the phone. You've got to get their correct information, and you got to sound confident. And that's with going with your script. So you've got a good list. You have a good script. If you want to copy my script, I mean, it's on my earlier channels. Just go and look for it. My script is there. I go over a lot, and I don't mind if you all have it. And I do a lot of my Monday calls. I do Monday live cold callings, especially if you're in a warrior and you're in the group. You hear all my cold calling, and I feel pressure right now because we're going just into 2022 first quarter. I have 10 consecutive yeses on all the last Mondays that have been called. So it's like on this next Monday, I'm really feeling pressure. Like, am I going to be able to keep this trend going? And it's kind of like, I got to keep this going. I got to keep this going. But you got to call, you got to be able to give a script, and you got to be able to sound confident. You got to be able to know what you're doing. Now, I always share, what if it's my first phone call? What if it's my first deal? What if? Well, what if? Okay. Well, if it's your first phone call and you haven't done this before, you call smaller deals. You call deals that you're going to get small payouts, like a $200-300 payout. Because I would rather see you mess up on that deal than if you called like a $10,000, $50,000, $30,000. That's all good money. Because if you call a $10,000 deal, that's 30% that you should at least get. That's $3,000. That's a lot of money to people. But if you call like a $800 deal and you split it with them 50-50, no one's calling on that. The competition's small, and it gets your confidence level up. So use your script, know your script, and have it engraved, like the back of your hand. And I say that because all script is its story. Been over this 100 times. What if you call someone and they say, how did you get my info? What are you going to tell them? And I usually say, this is public record. But what if you call someone and they say, what's in it for you? What's your process? What are you going to do? I mean, you don't know what question's going to be batted at you next. And you have to be able to answer the questions that are being batted at you. And if you don't know the protocol there, never say, I don't know, but also don't act like you know when you don't. Like, I've had situations happen where it's like, the stepchild and both parents are deceased, the brothers or sisters. And I'll say, you know what? I believe the funds are going to go to you, but I want to double check with my legal team. Right there, you've gotten yourself off the hook. Or I haven't quite seen one like this. I've done this for a while. Let me double check this. And if I call you back, at that point, your dialogue's going enough. And that's more credibility than pretending like you know something you don't. Then you have to call them back up. And there are times where my instinct's been a little wrong on something. And I think it's going to go here. And a classic example was, there was a case I worked a while ago, and it was someone had quitclaim deed it to another person. I had never seen this done in overages. And sure enough, the person who got the quitclaim deed got the overage. I thought it was in the name of who the loan went into. And that was a whole learning experience for me. But who's ever on title got the overage. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible. So you've got step 1 is getting a doable list. You've got step 2 is knowing your script, calling, getting in front of your person and being able to present yourself and sell your product. The third one, and this really changed my marketing like for life when I started doing this, offer to send a notary to the person directly. Now, if you're working your first deal and you're going to get like a $50, $60 payout, good for you, congratulations. Let them get their own notary. But if you're going to make over 200, 300 bucks, go ahead and spend anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks or $75 on a notary. Good places that you could find quality notaries a lot of times are 47 is what I use. They're great. You could set up an account. You could put in the area. Like I just had a case in Florida not that long ago, and the gal's living up in Illinois. It was this real rural town, and she was really hard to find. And it took me like a week to find a notary, but I had someone going up there, and they're great service. Craigslist is another great way to find a notary. Just get on there and see who's selling and what they're selling, and that's a good notary. You find them online. There's all sorts of notary services if you Google it online to use which one. But when you're talking to your client, I'll say something to the degree of, on behalf of being able to work with you, JD Vista will go ahead and cut the cost of the notary. This will be on us. This is one of the benefits you get with going with us. Is it okay if I have my notary get in contact with you? And then at that point, I upload my documents in a notary 24/7. I put what they need to do. Now in California, I haven't used notary 24/7 for them, but claim for abandoned property, the yellow paper that you have to use, you could put that right on there if you're doing a state unclaimed fund for that one versus a tax overage. So those are the 3 steps of getting contracts back. Number 1 is you've got to have a quality list, and I say that because a lot of times I see people with lists that they've already been claimed, they haven't checked their leads, they haven't vetted, and you've got to get in and vet your deals, bottom line. Number 2 is you got to make contact with your individual. And the final recap is offer to send a notary, because especially with state funds, someone's sitting there with all this money in the state, usually there for 2+ years. Most states have a 2+ year period where you can't approach them unless it's been there longer than 2 years. And they haven't done anything about this. And a lot of times people will say to me like, yeah, I know this is out there. I just haven't done anything about it. And I'll say, okay, great. Can we go ahead and jump in and help you collect this? We'll assist you with the paperwork. We'll file it for you and we'll do everything for you. We get 10% and you don't even have to worry about it. And it's like people will say, well, yeah, okay, that's great. So now you're offering the notary service. That is the best way I've seen. And even in real estate, like I've done a lot of contracts, I've gotten a lot of properties into escrow, a lot of wholesale deals in the beginning. And if you're working the real estate realm of this, or if you're working surplus fund, it's just a great way to get the contracts back. Hey, again, thank you for watching my video. Do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed, like I said, subscribe to my channel, click the like down below. Feel free to comment on this video and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.